this is DJ controller. Essentially, these are the jog wheels. This is how you move the tracks. There's 4 to 5 knobs depending on your mixer. This controls all the different levels of the music, so from bass to your treble, just the actual volume of it, and then there's like filters and shit. So, sorry. There's these hot pads. That's pretty much it. A DJ itself it can be from a real professional to an amateur like me to some kid just playing on his Spotify and making a playlist. That's pretty much just controlling music. So I'm going to show you guys pretty much 3 things all DJs essentially need to know, in my opinion. The first is just music sense. Like, you should know what good music sounds like. Every DJ has their own kind of sound, which is super unique, but having a difference in sound for different parties will be able to tell you what kind of party you're at. So that's pretty much one thing. Reading a crowd. Certain crowds like certain tunes. The difference, like if you're hosting a wedding versus hosting a club event, there's difference. You know, people at a wedding necessarily have a couple songs they want to dance to, but you're there to interact with the families and the crowd, while a club, all people care about is dancing, the music, so that's pretty much the difference in those versus just a party. You know, it's the same, it's kind of in between. You want to have people socializing, but you also want people dancing. Trying to find the right mix and seeing which crowds are interacting with you can display how to change the music. And then the final thing you kind of need to know about DJing is called beat matching. If you want to beat match, it's from taking the same beat of one song straight into another song. So you don't want 2 songs hitting each other, and then you can kind of tell the noise will start to cancel out, and you're like, this is off. You won't be able to mix straight into one song to the other. So I'm just going to give a quick example of that. All my levels are right. Right. Okay, so different people have different songs, and by telling by crowds. Does anyone like Every Time We Touch?
Yeah.
Great classic, right? So I think certain DJs can find songs that people really, you know, like when you hear that one club song and you're like, yes, this is my song. I think those classic hits are really good. But if you I think remixes, especially like electronic dance music remixes, are so good because it's the same song, but then you bring them more in. You're like, oh, this is a song I love. But then you change, and you're like, oh, this is awesome, I can dance to this, I can groove to this. So this is a remix I have of Every Time We Touch. So I'm going to show you guys how to use each knob, essentially. So there's a filter canceling which frequency of the wave comes in. So if you have a low pass, it only lets low filters in. So versus if you throw a high filter on, you only get the high. So that's how you see like people start to really build up, and then they just. So this kind of energy creates a crowd. Well, you know, maybe this isn't the right crowd for you guys. No one's dancing. So maybe, you know, I'm gonna switch this up. Everybody loves Mr. Brightside. Classic hit. So you know, I already can see people smiling. I know this is a song that people like, but yeah, it's a remix. It's not the same song. You won't be like, oh, as soon as it starts to change, you'll be like, oh, this is new, I can join to this. So knowing how to read a crowd is probably the most important about DJing. Beat matching, you can learn. You just count the beat, 1 in, 1 out, and then you just link them up. It's pretty easy. But reading a crowd, understanding what people want, and knowing music, I think is the best part about DJing. Having a room of nobody, to start one person coming in dancing, and then you get the whole crowd in. That's why I like DJing. That's why I think DJs are important. Doesn't matter if it's a super hardcore EDM guy, or you know, you just got a couple of friends who want to just dance. Having the right atmosphere, the right music, I think sets for every great party. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.